how I can have a faith-aligned day, how I can connect to the creative energy. I set my alarm. I'm going to get up at 7:30 and today's my day. What do I need to do?
You need to get up, get on the mat, and breathe for 30 minutes. After you breathe for 30 minutes, now your nervous system is calm. So you're not creating stories and obstacles for yourself. After you breathe, you need to pray. Once you pray, now you've engaged the source and aligned yourself to it. The source meaning God.
How long do I pray for?
30, 40 minutes. And it cannot be just your own prayer. It has to be structured. The reason it's structured is because it's through structured prayer that you ascend or you align yourself into alignment with the Creator so that you can become, the pulsation of your heart becomes in alignment with the pulsation of God's light. And so when you're praying, it takes time for you to start to receive. So now your nervous system is calm because you did some breathing. You've expanded your oxygen level. You've expanded the light of your soul. Now you're feeding your soul with prayer because the only thing that can sustain you is that which created you. And now that starts to feed you as a result of prayer. Now you say structured prayer. Confine yourself for 30 minutes. After the prayer, you can go on about your day. You can start doing what it is that you intend to do.
Some people recommend either some practice of learning and intellectual engagement or processing one's life through journaling.
So I find that learning, depending on what you're learning, if you learn, let's say you're a Hindu and you're learning the Bhagavad Gita, right? You read a concept, and that concept now dictates how your day is going to unfold because your thoughts are affecting your reality. So if you learn a concept, whether you're reading Siddhis or you're reading Sikh Dharma or the Bhagavad Gita, the concept that you read now feeds your intellect, and your light projects, the source feeds your soul, and your light projects and starts to create realities where you can apply the concept that you learn.
What you're saying to me is that learning could be helpful?
It's absolutely helpful because you're learning concept on how to deal with reality.
And that goes after prayer?
Yes. I'll tell you why it goes after prayer. Because if you're scattered on your intellect needs something to overcome, right? It needs to wrap itself around something. So if you're not engaged in new ideas and concepts of how the universe and how reality works, you sink into the obstacles. And so your intellect starts to create obstacles for yourself. Oh, this is not going to work.
It's imagining.
Joe did it, and no, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to be able to do it. And so your imagination now goes to create possibility B or plan B, right? So without creating plan B, so you don't start creating plan B, you need to engage your intellect in learning a concept, even one sentence. If you read Tanya, if you read Siddhis,
it's so hard.
Anything, any conscious concept.
People are watching right now, spiritual wisdom text that people could go to that you feel would be helpful.
There's 2 volumes of the Bhagavad Gita that were translated by Yogananda Paramahansa, and they're sold. They're translated into English, and they're sold in the Western world. You can read a quarter of a page and get enormous.
Okay,
concept.
next.
You can read Ernest Holmes, The Science of the Mind, which is an incredible channeled information. He was a Christ lover. He was brilliant, and he provided people with a way on how to look at conscious reality.
Third,
Tanya, which is, we know,
the Alter Rebbe.
The Alter Rebbe wrote it, and it needs to be translated. You need to understand it. But you can read one sentence and be consumed with it all day.
That's the Chabad Tanya.
Yeah, because you're once you read it, then you start to apply the concept that you just learned to every aspect of your life. One part contains the whole, right? So you're not just reading a sentence.
So you're looking for depth, not breadth, quality over quantity.
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay. 1, I woke up. 2, I did breathing. 3, I did prayer. Possible 4, if people want to, they can add the learning. Then you go about your day.
I go to CrossFit.
You go to CrossFit.
Yeah.
You got to work out before you eat.
Absolutely.
Water?
A little bit.
So you're working out.
Yeah.
Is that can be in the home? It has to be outside?
I go and I have someone push me beyond my limits. The whole idea.
Every day?
Absolutely. So 5 days a week.
5 days.
So if you work out and we don't necessarily always know how to push ourselves. We don't know how to push yourself beyond your comfort level. So if you want to achieve something that's not within the confines of what you already know, you want to go see someone that knows you and understands you, that's going to push you beyond your comfort level.
Not everybody can afford that, or that's not within their budget.
Go to class.
They could go to class. They could also look up some benchmarks that they should hit.
Absolutely.
Okay. So they should be pushing themselves.
Always, every day, do something, achieve something new.
Then breakfast?
Breakfast if you want. I don't need till
Okay.
1 o'clock in the afternoon.
So you advocate for a lighter eating style.
Protein and vegetables.
For free.
Yeah.
So now you're in a pretty, I would say, elevated state of mind from what I'm sensing of you. You got high energy. You've really done a lot. Now it's probably a 10, 11 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
And someone can get to work. This person's productive, let's say. They don't have problems with sluggishness or distraction. Many people do, though.
You have to close your day. You can throughout your day, you can do breathing exercises that sustain you. You can do eye exercises. You can do exercises that sustain your focus.
Are these all yogic based?
Absolutely. Yoga is a phenomenal technology. It's 5,000 years old. It's impenetrable. Whether Kriya yoga or physical yoga, you can do both.
So if you find yourself distracted or low energy, that's when you should break.
Absolutely. Take a break, get away from your computer, go sit down somewhere, and remove yourself. Leave your phone.
Don't necessarily reach for the phone to get the dopamine or to the food to get the boost, the sugar.
Do anything. It's not going to fill you. What's going to fill you is when you reconnect with the Creator. You reconnect to the flow. Right? You're scattered in your work. You're immersed in your work. You're completely putting your energy into what you're trying to achieve. You remove yourself for 5 minutes. And you go sit somewhere where nobody can see you. Remove yourself, sit in a flat chair and do breath of fire or do ego eradicator or something.
In many traditions, people pray multiple times a day.
Right.
Yeah.
So the prayer is as a sign of gratitude, because most prayer is an expression. So as you express gratitude, you're insinuating that you're content with where you are. You become completely present. And if you're present, you're receiving. Right? So you're not scattered on 16 things that you need to do or you'd like to achieve, or your outcome, or how much money you're going to have 5 years from now. All of that's great, but you have to take steps to make it happen. So journaling and talking about how rich you're going to be is it's great.
People should be taking action.
Absolutely.
What if, let's say someone is motivated, they're taking action, and they run into what they feel is an obstacle, or something has triggered them, thrown them off. They don't like the way that they feel like they might be getting cheated or hurt in a deal.
If they're getting cheated, they're cheating themselves.
So they should always look internally and not react.
Realized medicine, the whole idea is you see, this is not my quote. I learned it from a yogi. He said, if you can't see God in all, you can't see God at all. Which means if someone is cheating you, it's because you're cheating yourself. And so they form themselves. It's not the law of attraction, it's the law of creation. So creation is an active process. And so we are co-creators of reality. We receive from the Creator. The Creator feeds our souls, and then we direct that energy based on the broadness of our intellect into reality. And so if my light is directed out and people are coming into my life to cheat me, I'm cheating myself. The only way I'll know that I'm cheating myself is if I see it being done to me.
Right. So you're saying if you encounter things that you're uncomfortable with or giving you anxiety, you should check in with yourself. It's somewhere in you, so it's really an opportunity to make a correction, adjustment,
Absolutely.
to grow.
It's all an opportunity to make correction.
So now we have a person, they did all the things in the morning, they were productive, they interpreted life symbolically in this realized medicine approach, and now it's evening. Let's say it's 7 o'clock. They're very hungry at this point. They feel hungry. They're going to eat dinner?
Absolutely.
What's a good meal what's a good approach to food for dinner?
Protein and vegetables.
Protein and vegetables. Does someone do exercise in the evening to wind up?
I would like to say that physical yoga or some sort of martial art
In the evening?
in the evening before 7 o'clock.
Vigorous?
Could be vigorous.
Martial arts seems vigorous.
Absolutely.
Yoga?
Physical yoga, not breathing. Not to overexcite yourself. To train your muscles, to train your body to be fit. Life doesn't end at 6 o'clock.
Body over intellect? Why not study in the evening? Why not?
You can study in the evening. I mean, it depends on what you're culturally used to doing, what you do as a spiritual practice. If I'm going to learn, I'm going to learn right before I go to sleep, 9 o'clock.
Don't scan the phone, learn something, and then hit the bed.
Hit the bed, go lay down.
Let's just go back to the dinner.
Yeah,
You said that dinner is protein. Does that mean someone could be eating meat 5 days?
absolutely. Meat, fish, chicken, whatever represents protein for you. Remember, it's our world. You're creating it.
I'm saying some people think meat is great. Other people say plant-based, don't eat so much meat.
Whatever fits you.
Yeah.
Whatever you.
But you're
fits
saying
you.
protein, not all this sugar.
What works for me
Yeah.
is beef and fish.
And the bread
I'm not a bread eater. I love it, but I try not to avoid it.
slows you down.
It slows me down. It affects my digestive system. Ultimately, it turns to sugar.
It fills you, though. It makes you
It
feel
fills you up.
Yeah.
It's a false sense of fulfillment.
It's interesting what you taught me now, because I'm looking at the day. Let's say it's a 12-hour period approximately, and there's waking up and you're sort of boosting yourself up. You're breathing, you're stimulating yourself, you're praying. Now it's like up here. Now you're exercising, so you're charging that into your body. Then you're eating, but you're not making a dip. You're eating just enough to like keep that boost going, and then you're going into the day, and you're productive, and you're moving, and you're active, and you're taking action, and you don't allow this disruption to take you down or aside. You actually use it to amplify your life. If you encounter something, but there is still a flow. It seems like then as you come into evening, you are able to eat something that takes digestive power, and it is taking your energy down. But before you do that, you get one last kick into the body. It's for you so much about body. And then you're meditating or learning or both, and then coming down. So the day is really about building up to a peak and sustaining that peak.
So you want to fuel your soul before you fuel your body.
So that morning is essential.
So the morning is essential. Your soul is the driving force.